Madam Secretary, let me just try to correct the record in some instances here with my time. I think it's wonderful that we talk about career and technical education. You may have seen the Pew Research Center and Markle Foundation's The State of American Jobs, which talked about 70% of American adults do not have a four-year degree. And while we can talk about it and give a lot of lip service to it, the fact of the matter is, and this was not a continuing resolution issue, there was a decision made for this budget to cut the career and technical education program by 15%, $168 million. This is not, and you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You're either going to put the money where we believe we're going to make the best possible bang for the buck, or we should just be silent about it. Don't talk about it and do something about it. Let me talk about vouchers for a moment. Gold Standard, Institute of Education Sciences, Gold Standard evaluation of Washington, D.C., the only federally funded voucher program, found that vouchers negatively impacted student achievement. D.C. students using vouchers performed significantly worse on math. In the first year they used the voucher. In the early grades, they performed worse in both math and reading. Similar results from Louisiana, Ohio, and Indiana, as my colleagues have pointed out. Madam Secretary, you continue to say that Title I has not been cut. Title I has been cut by $578 million. The fact of the matter is that with all due respect, on May 5th, we signed an omnibus bill. I don't want any process piece here, and that affects what my colleague Ms. Lee talked about. These are cuts to programs. So the fact is that the budget proposes cuts that, if enacted, would impose real harm on our country's students. And I have to make the point again with regard to vouchers and children who are disabled or disabilities. You referenced the McKay Scholarship Program, and I would just tell you that in that program, with information that I have, and we looked into it, no due process rights under IDEA. They give up due process rights granted by the individuals if you accept a federal voucher. No accountability for the participating schools. They do not have to be accredited. They do not have to provide any evidence of the quality of their programs. No evidence of student success because students do not take standardized tests in private schools. It's impossible to hold private schools accountable or compare their performance with public schools. Key NAEP scores have declined or flat between 2009 and 2015. Now, I make those corrections because if we are going to have a robust conversation about education, then let's put the facts on the table and go from there. This is a budget, and I characterized it, Mr. Chairman, in the Ag Appropriations Committee this morning. It is cruel, it is inhumane, and it is heartless. A $9.2 billion cut to education. And the fact of the matter is that when my colleague talked about there's 10%, there's less money going to high poverty areas. The teachers are more likely to be novices in these places. Those underserved areas are going to be hurt. We're none of us in here going to be hurt. We're going to be fine. Our kids and our grandkids are going to be okay. But millions of kids around this country are going to suffer what has been done with a $9.2 billion cut to our education programs, which is supposed to serve our youngsters, make sure they have a good future and a bright future. And I'm going to fight this budget, Mr. Chairman, with every fiber of my body because it is wrong to do this to our kids.